Hi everybody, welcome back to Enjoying Retirement. Today I'm headed back down to Sandy Point State Park by Annapolis, Maryland, back to my home waters. I've been away for too long, so I'm going to jump in. I'm going to try to do some live lining, just as I did in my video 2 years ago. So first spot is to head under the bridge and see if I can catch some small spot. I got there and I was doing pretty well. Catching a lot of spot. They were a little bit on the too small side, like 2 inches. I'd prefer 3 inches or so, but fortunately there was a few of them and even a little croaker thrown in, and one small, very small perch, which is kind of strange. Usually I catch more perch there. Well, as you can see, the water started acting up. There had been a small craft advisory till 8 a.m. and I thought if I launch about 8:30, we'd just see how it went. Well, it started getting a little bit tougher. It wasn't horrible, but with the wind blowing in the same direction as the falling super tide would be flowing, it started getting a little bit too choppy, and I decided that maybe we ought to switch to plan B. So I had been keeping these guys, but now I start seeing the waves roll in, and plan B it is. So we're going to switch to perch fishing. I had a request to show my wife making her perch fish cakes. So that's my goal. I need to catch enough perch so that we can come back and make some fish cakes. So I head out from under the bridge because the perch just wasn't there. I head to my usual spot where I can get some calm water. I fished along the reeds, no perch. Fished into fallen branches, no perch. Kept fishing into a mix, no perch. You know, it's been hot the last couple summers, and that's really why I haven't been out there. The perch just haven't been biting. They just haven't been there. Okay, they're always under a dock, right? Nope, no perch. I think this warm water has just kept them down deep. Well, what the heck. I even decided to take a break, eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Still no perch. However, I did spot an area, small area, with some shade. And I figure that's probably the coolest spot there is. It's a north-facing bank, it's got some good growth, and it's in shade. Sure enough, first cast. We've got something, and it's a pretty good fighter. This has got to be a perch. Yep, it's a perch. Apparently they just needed that cooler water. Now this is a very, very small spot. He's a keeper, so we have enough that I can at least make a video out of fish cakes, but I'd like to try some more. So I got him. This is my second cast into the shade. And we've got another perch. This guy's a little bit smaller. I'm going to toss him back. So even though we're making fish cakes, we don't need to keep them big enough for fillets, but there still is a reasonableness to it. So we're hoping to get into the 8.5 to 9.5, 10-inch range. So over the course of about 20 minutes, I ended up catching 5 keeper perch. Tossed a couple back, but that was the only place I found them. This little 30, 40-yard area on a north-facing bank under complete shade. Everywhere else I went in those 3.5 hours there just was no perch at all. So we're going to wrap it up. You can see I've been keeping them in the live well. I've started doing something new. So as soon as I'm done, I try to keep them live, and then I'm going to brain and bleed them, just like they do for the big fish down in Florida. I think it keeps the meat fresher and cleaner. So they were on ice after I brained and bled, and this is the next day. They are well chilled, and my wife is filleting them. Here's the ingredients we're going to be using. Very simple: garlic, green onions, garlic salt, salt, pepper, dill, an egg, and panko. And if you want a little bit of Asian fusion, go ahead and throw in some fish sauce. If you want to keep it Maryland, throw in some Old Bay. As you can see here, my wife is a master filleter. If you watch my charter fishing in Alaska video, she could not stand being around when they filleted her 70-pound halibut. There was just too much meat left on the bone. See, she's going in here, she's going into the collars, she's scraping the backbone. She's not being fanatical about it, but she's getting everything. At the end, after these 5 fish, there's an ounce of good meat left over. And add the panko and everything else, that's 1 fish cake. Just imagine what was left over on a 70-pound halibut. Anyway, here we are, chopping up the green onions, smashing the garlic, and then she's going to mince it all together. Just keep going, get them nice and small. And when you've got that done, go ahead and put them in your mixing bowl that you're going to be using. We've got 4 ounces of white perch that we're going to be using. A couple of the smaller fillets, the belly and rib meat she cut off from the main fillets. And then she's going to cube it to make it manageable. And then after that, she's going to be chopping it. Kind of tenderize, chop. Anyway, you want to dice it. And she spent probably 4 or 5 minutes doing this. You want to get it down to where it's kind of pasty. Not completely, you still keep some texture, but as you'll see in a moment, you reach a point where it'll stick together. See, that protein is starting to bind together, just what you want. So put that into your mixing bowl too. Next comes about, I don't know, half a tablespoon of garlic salt. About half a tablespoon of dill. Use fresh dill if you have it, if not, dried. And then some black pepper and salt to taste. This is where you can also add the fish sauce if you want, or some more Old Bay seasoning. Crack 1 good size egg into it as a binder and mix it up well. Once you got that all mixed up, go ahead and grab the panko. And in this case, she's going to put 3 heaping tablespoons of panko into the mix. And mix that up. While you've got that about almost done, go over to the stove and put on the frying pan. Turn it on to medium heat. Add your oil, extra virgin olive oil, sunflower oil, whatever you got. And then once that's heated, go ahead and roll out your fish cakes. Form them into patties in your hands or use the spoon and smash them down. Going to make one a little bit bigger than the others. You'll see why here in a moment. Get the rest of the mixture in there, and you've got 4 good fish cakes from 5 small perch. We also had 7 good fillets left over, which I froze, and they are going to become fish tacos here pretty soon. So when you've got it going, flip them, and then just keep cooking and flipping until they reach a nice golden brown like that. Boy, that smells good. All right, you're done. Now you can serve it however you want to. Typical would be just on a bed of lettuce, maybe some noodles, some onions, some sauce on it, and you're good to go. In my case, I decided to make a burger out of it. Got my lettuce, tomato, bread and butter, pickles, and some sriracha mayo. Boy, that was good. Well, that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my wife for preparing the fish cakes for us. Thank you all, and as always, I am enjoying retirement.